Imperial is our featured supplier today, and the topic, like you see on the screen, is how to significantly reduce shop supply expense with Imperial. And we have Keith Deans, Chief Operating Officer, representing Strategic Source today, and he'll come on in just a moment, and I'll have you give the intro for today's session. Welcome.
Well, thanks, David, and I want to welcome everyone to the Strategic Source Innovative Supplier Series. And I'm sure a number of you have probably joined our series before, and as to date, I think approximately we've had 35 webinars that we've delivered over the last year. Again, our goal is to bring to our clients and industry experts information surrounding new suppliers and solutions that will help them drive cost reduction at the same time, in some instances, drive revenue generation and improve some of their processes within their own organization. And so today's webinar, we have Randy Pritchard from Imperial Supplies. And again, he's going to focus on today's topic, and that is how to significantly reduce shop supply spending. So we look forward to hearing from him. Just as a reminder, today's webinar will be available in approximately 24 hours, so you can actually go onto our site and request a copy. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce Randy Pritchard, Director of Business Development for Imperial Supplies. Randy?
Thank you, Keith, and thank you, David. Appreciate the opportunity to present Imperial today. Okay, so what you guys will learn today is how to significantly reduce shop supplies expense with Imperial Supplies. So Imperial equals low-hanging fruit for car dealers, and what I mean by that, we're going to show you how to cut supply expense between 20 and 45%. So our goal is to help our customers reduce shop supply expense by $1,000 per tech per year. So the average car dealership in the United States should be able to reduce cost by $1,000 per tech per year. Average car dealer has 10 techs, so the average dealer, our goal is to help them reduce cost by $10,000. That is how do we get there? Significant cost of goods savings. Typically, we're 22% less on apples to apples based on our business model. And then indirect savings, lean process improvement. The program is easy. Imperial does all the setup work, and the program is free to test and free to implement. So according to the NADA, a dealership's mission is to grow profits, grow productivity, and grow people. And that is Imperial's goal, to help you grow profits, productivity, and people. And through this presentation today, hopefully we'll be able to show you how to accomplish that. So we have a poll question here. Who's credited with the famous quote, "Watch the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves"? Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Warren Buffett, Ronald Reagan, or Donald Trump? We'll give a minute for everybody to respond here.
Thanks, everyone, for clicking on the radio button and hitting submit. And when you're ready here, Randy, we can end the poll, and when you're ready, we can show the results.
Okay, here we go. There's the results. Warren Buffett, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson all got votes here. And so we'll go to the result, and it was Benjamin Franklin. Watch the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. So that's going way back. Okay, so supplier background. Imperial is the largest national distributor of fleet maintenance supplies in the United States. We distribute 1.7 million products. We were founded in 1958, and in 2009, we became a specialty division of Grainger. Our secret sauce is this: we do not have any route commission sales agents. We essentially use technology to replace the need for a route salesman to be in your shop, and we pass the savings on to you guys. We're currently the fastest growing supplier to the auto dealer market. We have a holistic, so our world-class customer base. Names you'll recognize: Herb Chambers, Sonic Automotive, Greenway, McClarty. Probably the most recognizable name is Tesla. All the service centers for Tesla are utilizing the Imperial program. So names you'll recognize, again, the fastest growing supplier to the auto dealer world. We take a holistic approach. So when we start working with the dealership, we're looking at what we call a total cost model. So the first area that we look at is what your purchase price, what you're actually paying for the cost of goods. Average savings in the auto dealer world is 22% savings, and that's exact same product. It's just a different business model. Also, we distribute 1.7 million products, so our goal is to help you shrink your supplier base. And for every invoice you do not have to process, the average cost to process an invoice in the United States in a car dealership is $75. So our goal is to help you reduce the number of invoices that you have to process. And the last area that we look at is the inventory that you have on hand. Most dealerships have obsolete or overstock inventory, and we have a process for helping eliminate that inventory from your dealership and giving you a credit for what we remove. This is the business-to-business selling spectrum. If you understand this, you understand the Imperial program and how our program operates. So on the right side of the equation is full service. And what we mean by that is the route salesman coming in to place orders and come back in some cases and stock the product. On the full service side for auto dealers, names you'll recognize are Worth, Kent, Windsor, Fastenal, Granger, and then hundreds of other suppliers that operate off of a route environment. So that's the right-hand side of the equation. On the left-hand side of the equation, you have Amazon, Uline, and Zorro. And over the last 10 years, there's been a huge shift from the right side to the left side. So there's been two key factors driving the shift to the left side of the business-to-business selling spectrum. So the first key ingredient is it all started with Amazon making it extremely easy to order online and to sell for less. Basically, with the mobile app, you can order pretty much anything in the world and have it on your front doorstep the next day. So that's the first driving factor to moving to the self-service model. The second driving factor is the significant cost savings. On the right side, the full service guys, they're very expensive. It's just the route model is a very expensive model. So for every dollar you spend in that area, it takes about 30 cents on that dollar to support the route guy. That's wages, benefit, transportation cost, all the costs associated with that employee. So where does Imperial fit into this business-to-business selling spectrum? We are a hybrid model. And what I mean by that, we're very similar to Amazon in that we are a technology-based company. With that, we're different in this respect. We have what we call a Scantel program where on Imperial's dime, we will go into your shop, clean, label, and organize for maximum efficiency following the 5S process. And with that, you're set up to utilize a mobile app, a scanner, the web, or working with the dedicated account advisor on order fulfillment. The average order with Imperial in the auto dealer world is about 10 line items. With our mobile app, you can literally scan and transmit the order in 2 minutes. And then we back all that up with what we call a dedicated account advisor. And these are one-to-one, so your dealership has a single point of contact at Imperial. The difference is our single point of contact can literally touch 100 customers in a day or more, whereas the route guy is very limited in the exposure that they can have in a day's time. It costs us about 3 cents on the dollar to manage with the dedicated account advisor. It costs our competitor about 30 cents on the dollar to physically send someone in. The delta between the two are the savings that we passed on to our customers. Again, our benchmark is to save a dealership $1,000 per tech per year. So if you have 10 techs in your dealership, our goal is to help you save $10,000 in shop supply. 20 techs, $20,000 in shop supply. It all starts with what we call forensic analysis process. Essentially, we'll set you up with our pricing structure so you have access to our pricing on the web. But then we do what we call a deep dive into the invoice analysis process. We call it a forensic analysis because we're looking for everything. So we do a line item to line item comparison, apples to apples comparison, and then we dig a little bit deeper. In this example here, the shop foreman was reviewing the order with the route guy, and he noticed TPMS sensors on the order, so he asked the route guy to remove them. And then a few weeks later, when he's going through the invoices, he sees that he actually received TPMS sensors, so he's got to go through the process of returning those. Also on this invoice, another total part of the cost, transportation cost, these guys were charging a fuel surcharge, so kind of like nickel and dime the dealership, where all these expenses add up. So we take a raw invoice like this and convert it into an Excel spreadsheet like this. So it shows a apples to apples, line item to line item comparison, and this is what we present after the forensic analysis. So in this particular case, our competitor was $394 on the invoice, and Imperial was $279, or 29% in cost of goods savings. This slide is what I call proof of concept. So this is a dealership down in Jacksonville, Florida, that was using a route supply company called Max Supply. They decided to test the Imperial program. So the first part, the forensic analysis, 29% savings. However, if you look up top, if you look at the green line and the gray line and look at the overall impact, we were able to reduce their cost by 46%. So how did that happen? It happened in two ways. The biggest part was the 29% cost of goods savings. But with our model, you're ordering yourself. And almost in every case, when you're ordering what you need when you need it versus having a route salesperson come in and sell you product, on average, a dealership with Imperial will spend 15% less than they did with the route salesperson just by ordering and managing the process themselves. In this case, prior to Imperial, they were spending $4,100 a month on shop supplies. After Imperial, $2,200 a month in shop supplies. For $49,000 annualized versus $26,000 annualized, or a $23,000 savings on cost of goods. They also went from processing 135 invoices to processing 51 invoices. And the only thing that's really not, from a financial standpoint, that's not in this business case, this spreadsheet, is the amount of time that it's actually spent and wasted with the route guy. With Imperial, the average order is going to take you about 30 minutes to process. And again, that's scanning, transmitting, and then stocking the product. A typical route supplier is in the shop for an hour, meeting with parts, meeting with service, and then some of the guys are out on the shop floor talking to technicians. Second poll question. So the NADA forever, they track operating earnings for car dealerships. For 2017 through 2019, the average was 2.2. For August of 2021, the question is, for August of 2021, what did the NADA report to be the average operating earnings for dealerships in the United States? 0.7, 2.1, 5.6, 10.7. All right, I think, let's see, I think everyone has responded. It looks like we got an intelligent group here because the answer is 5.6. So 5 out of 7 got it right. Congratulations. Good job there. So interesting on that is that car dealerships since COVID have been crazy profitable. There's never been a more profitable time than now to be a car dealer. With that being said, executives that I have talked with over the past year or so, a lot of executives that I've talked with, they anticipated that there was going to be the wave was going to crash in the fourth quarter. And the reality that it really didn't happen, and it didn't happen in the first quarter. Most companies were still reporting record profits. With that being said, in the second quarter and the third quarter, that's starting to turn. So from an operating earnings standpoint, going from a 2.2 to the latest information that I have is around 6 and some change. So that's still nearly a 300% improvement in profitability. With that, I don't think anyone really believes that that is sustainable. And we'll talk a little bit more about that number as we move forward. Okay, so the NADA calls this the CFO answer, the impact of spending a dollar or wasting a dollar. So for every dollar that you spend that you don't need to spend, you have to generate so many more dollars top line to make up for that $1 that you lost. So at a 2.20 E, for every dollar in savings divided by the OE, meaning it's the equivalent of adding $45.45 to the top line of the dealership. Also, the other way to look at it, for every dollar that you waste, you got to generate $45.45 in gross sales in order to make up for that dollar you just waste. And if you double the operating earnings, you're still looking at having to generate $20 for every $20 you waste. $20 for every dollar you waste. Now, in the case of the Max Supply versus Imperial at the Jacksonville dealership, they spent $49,000. They were able to reduce their spend. They spent $49,000 prior to Imperial. With Imperial, they were able to reduce their shop supply expense by $23,000. At the 2.20 E, that means that is like adding $1 million to the top line for that dealership. And again, if you adjust the OE to 4.0, it's still the equivalent just by changing your shop supplier, the equivalent of adding $500,000 to the top line for the dealership. So what business problems do we solve? Essentially, we put in a better supply channel for shop supplies. And it all starts after we do a forensic analysis and someone decides to test the Imperial program. Then it starts with 5S, or the Toyota production system. And it starts with, on Imperial's dime, us coming in, sorting, setting in order, shine, and standardizing your shop supply areas, and then giving you guys the tools to manage the process moving forward. And so what is 5S? It's a part of the Toyota production system. It's a lean process improvement program, and it's designed to help find and eliminate waste from your dealership, increase productivity and reduce cost, and it creates a safer work environment for your employees. So this is before and after of 5S with Imperial. On the left-hand side, you have a dealership. It's Gator Ford down in Tampa, Florida. This was before Imperial on the left-hand side. Through our process and working with a shop foreman, we were able to identify 162 SKUs of obsolete inventory. They were able to remove for a credit of $2,400. How that credit works: all invoices in the future will have a 5% discount until that $2,400 credit is consumed. But just getting the credit for obsolete inventory is just one aspect of it. If you look at the conversion, the footprint that the shop supplies take is literally less than half with the Imperial setup after the conversion. And there's small things associated with this. For the technician that's coming in looking for product, he spends a lot less time looking through the Imperial setup than he would have with what the dealership was set up like prior to Imperial. So we look at everything. And one of the areas that gets neglected in a car dealership would be the first aid cabinet. Now, it's entirely up to the dealership, but most safety consultants recommend getting pharmaceuticals out of your safety cabinet, and that's what we recommend. In this particular case here, they had 7 different pharmaceuticals in the first aid kit. So for the sustaining aspect of the Imperial program, once we come in and clean, label, and organize your shop for maximum efficiency, about 90% of our orders come in through the mobile app. It's just the most efficient, easy way. You scan the barcode, you literally on your mobile app, you see the cost of what you just scanned to purchase. And the freight policy that we have set up with Strategic Source is anything over $100, Imperial picks up the freight. So right on the mobile app, you get to see where you hit $100 in free freight. For organizations that do not want to use the mobile app, they can use the scanner. that's provided at no cost. And then we have a lot of customers that just set up everything in a favorites file on the web and order that way. And then it's all backed up with a dedicated service advisor. So if you're running a shop and you run out of a product and you're not ready to place your bi-weekly order, pick up the phone and call the dedicated account advisor, and they can help you with that process. It's all about making it very, very easy to maintain. And then also part of the sustaining aspect of it is making it real easy. When that product comes in from Federal Express, you open up the FedEx box, and in it is the Imperial box that has a label that tells you where it goes. So we call it a bin location system. So a label on the box tells you what drawer the product goes in. You open up the drawer and the label on the box matches the label inside the drawer. So it's all about making it clean and efficient to manage the Imperial program and manage shop supplies for your dealership. Some testimonials from end users. This is a conversion we made last year with Morgan Automotive Group. These are end users' comments. Very happy with the Imperial program. It's been super easy to manage, actually stupid easy. Previous sales reps seem to always show up at the worst time of the day, but with Imperial, I'm able to place my orders on my own time. My orders arrive on time with Imperial, and I just finished putting away my last order. It was cake with your put away codes. So guys, essentially what Imperial really represents is change. So it's the same products, it's just a different methodology for getting the products into your dealership so you have what you need when you need to operate. But it is a change. A lot of people like the route guy coming in and don't realize how expensive they are. One of my favorite quotes about change is from Brian Marshall, the Vice President of Finance at Prime Automotive Group. So everyone wants to make more money, but no one wants to change anything. And I think you guys, if you've been around for a while, you probably know a lot of truth in that. One of my favorite quotes on change is from John Maxwell. Most people don't like change, that's a fact. Yet one of the most important responsibilities of leaders is to continually improve their organization. As a leader, you must train yourself to embrace change, to desire to make a way for it. Effective leaders are not only willing to change, but they become change agents. And I think change is very relevant today, and especially for the car dealer world that is facing change just about from every front. Let's see. The assessment offer with Imperial, basically what Imperial does is we do free consulting. So we come in and do a detailed financial analysis, and we show you what we can save you in the area of shop supplies. And then we get access to your shop to identify your current suppliers, your current processes, and basically share with you what your current state is and what the state could look like if you had Imperial supplies as your supplier. So the assessment offer is free consulting, supplier-based assessment, forensic analysis, and a business case. Your benefits, cut supply expense between 20 and 45%. And again, our goal when we go into a dealership is to help you cut costs. And our benchmark is $1,000 per tech per year. So the number of techs that you have, multiply that by 1,000, and that should be a benchmark for your annualized savings with Imperial. So where does that savings come from? Number one, significant cost of goods savings. It's just a different business model. We take the route guy out of the equation and pass the savings on to you guys. And then the indirect savings of cleaning up your inventory and getting rid of the route salesman and the influence associated with the route salesman. And then functionally, lean process improvement, thinning your inventory, giving you a much more efficient means of replenishment. A free cabinet program, we will replace on our dime. If you have existing bins from a competitor that do not belong to you, we'll replace it on our dime. To sum it up, it's an easy process. Imperial does all the setup work. It's free to test and free to implement. And here's my contact information. All right, David, I believe that I think we're ready for some questions.
Sure.
Do we have any questions from the participants?
Yes. Crisp presentation there. And so, yeah, we're doing great on time. So we have a number of things that we could cover. Keith is back. Welcome back, Keith. And did you have any questions at all for Randy before we head into the questions from the group?
My question would be to Randy, and it's something that I know that we've had a chance with our current clients that we've seen Imperial help with regard to their processes, and that is, can you talk a little bit about the training that you'll provide to those service department managers that will eliminate any anxiety that they have from transitioning to kind of a technological process and how easy that is? And I know you went into that a little bit with describing it, but I do know that that's something that we encounter, and you guys do a good job of being able to create a level of peace that it's going to be a smooth operation week to week in making sure that they have the inventory they need.
Great question, Keith. So the first thing is when a company decides to embrace the Imperial model, we have our field service team go in. And in many cases, it's one guy or two guys. And one thing about this team, they're not salespeople. They're in there to clean, label, and organize the shop for maximum efficiency. And then they train whoever is responsible for managing the Imperial program. And what I mean by that, scanning and transmitting the orders, and then potentially stocking the product when it comes in. So they have one-on-one live training on how to download the mobile app and scan and transmit orders. The beautiful thing about the process is it's just extremely easy downloading the app and scanning and transmitting. So that's the first part of the equation, one-on-one hands-on live training at the dealership. The second part is that the dedicated account advisor, if someone has a problem with the mobile app or anything at all, that's part of our secret sauce, the dedicated account advisor. So every dealership has one single point of contact that they work with over the phone that can really resolve 99% of anything that comes up. But again, a very simple process. Typical dealership will order from us like every other week, and just a simple process. Did that answer your question for you, Keith?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone, there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you have questions for Randy, feel free to click on that and type a question in, and we can go over as many as we can here. So let's go with this one. How long does it take to get the product once we scan and transmit?
Okay, that's a great question. So we have 5 fulfillment centers that are managed and run by Imperial. And so we're designed to set up to give 98% of the U.S. population either next day or second day delivery. And one of the things that I didn't talk about in this presentation, we're a specialty division of Grainger. So we've got access to 1.7 million products. With that, we are a low-cost model. So we can pretty much sell everything in the Grainger catalog at a discount. So a lot of our best dealerships, about 20% of their purchases will be in MRO supply items like a Robinair system, spill containment, material handling, and different things like that. And with most of the MRO product, in most cases, unless it's drop shipped from the manufacturer, you're looking at next day delivery on those types of items.
Okay.
All right, here's another one. Many companies are having supply chain issues. What is your current fill rate?
So Imperial, we have some competitive advantages in the marketplace when it comes to fill rate. First of all, we're backed by Grainger, the largest MRO distributor in the world, and everyone has had supply chain channels, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. With that, today we're maintaining a 98% fill rate, and that is the highest in the industry. And we've accomplished that in multiple different ways. For one, we've beefed up inventory by over $1 million on our A and B moving items, and that's helped us be able to sustain a 98% fill rate. Again,
there's a Q&A button at the bottom of the screen for all attendees. Feel free to click on that and type something in for us. Otherwise, here is another. Is inflation impacting your pricing?
Another great question. I think inflation is pretty much impacting everything. So yes, it does. But our competitive advantage is sustained because the inflation that we're seeing, our competitors are also seeing. So the savings percentage will be consistent. With that, the most recent examples, two commodities that drive the majority of the shop supply spend for auto dealers. A typical dealership will have at least 25%, 40% of their spend in disposable gloves and wheel weights. So in the area of disposable gloves, that commodity has seen more fluctuation in the last 2 years on that commodity than any commodity I've ever seen. With that, on the positive side, most recent procurement of gloves, the price has taken a significant decrease. So that's on the positive side. On the negative side, there's one wheel weight manufacturer that controls about 80% of the market in the United States. And they passed on to all of their suppliers a 8% increase in June and a 15% increase in July. So that was a negative impact to dealerships. We anticipate some of the same things continuing, but with that being said, it was nice to have some relief on the disposable gloves.
All right, I see just one more question here, unless more come in, and here's the final one. You did talk about it to some degree earlier, but how long does it take to order with your mobile app?
Great question. So the average order with the car dealership is 10 line items. It literally takes less than 5 minutes. The average dealership we will label up will be about 350 SKUs. With that, there's less than 50 SKUs that are considered to be A items that need to be ordered on a weekly basis. And it's just through the training that we do with our field service tech working with the dealership, the process is extremely easy, so the average order shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to scan and transmit.
That does it for the questions. Keith, I'm going to just bring up the post-session survey. We want to catch everyone before you drop from the webinar. To get your feedback on the time, just 2 questions, and that is up on the screen. And when you have yours done, you can submit. And otherwise, that does it from this end. Keith, let me send it over to you to wrap up the session.
All right. Thank you, David. Well, Randy, I want to thank you again for providing us great information with regard to Imperial Supplies and the impact that that particular service can have with regard to managing service operations in dealerships and really controlling inventories and ultimately supply cost and profitability. Lastly, I'd like to say is if you're interested in getting a copy of the webinar, it should be available in 24 hours, and you can contact us at sales@strategicsource.com, or you can text Chris Austin at 612-386-3898 that you see on your screen. But we want to continue to ask you to go to the Strategic Source website, where in a lot of instances we are publishing upcoming webinars, and we have a number of them that are going to be coming up in the months where you can, again, learn about innovative suppliers and solutions that can help you be more profitable in your business as you start to go forward. So we look forward to seeing you join us in future webinars. And again, if you have any questions about services that Strategic Source offers, again, contact us through our website at strategicsource.com, or again, you can text Chris Austin at 612-386-3898. So thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you all on future webinars at Strategic Source.